Thank you for tuning in to the Queen's Court podcast, a space curated for women by women. Here we celebrate empowerment, faith, sisterhood, and growth. So pull up a seat, settle in, and let's step into the rain room together.
Welcome back to the Queen's Court, a space curated for women by women, where faith, sisterhood, and real conversations meet. I'm your host, Neicey Ford, and if you listened to our last episode, you heard me share my story about my swimming adventure. I told you about a couple weeks ago, I took swim lessons and jumped into the deep end of the pool, something that might sound simple to some of you. But for me, it was huge. When I was 12, I almost drowned in an apartment complex pool. And after that moment, I just never learned how to swim. So standing at the edge of the pool that weekend or that week, I realized something powerful. I wasn't really afraid of the water, which I told the instructors that when I first started. But what I realized I was afraid of was the memory. I was terrified of the memory, but I jumped anyway. And during that lesson, an instructor said something that really stayed with me. She mentioned that people who are in leadership positions often struggle with relaxing in the water because we're used to being in control. And she was absolutely right because, baby, it took me a minute. So today, I wanted to bring Necolle Banks on to the Queen's Court so that she could talk not just about swimming, but about fear, control, and what happens when our minds show up before our body does. So welcome to the court, Necolle. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you for having me. I am honored just to be here talking with you. And I am so grateful and thankful that you took the step to learn how to swim.
Look, me too. But why don't you tell us about yourself before we dive in, and tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, how long you've been teaching swimming, and what actually led you to this work, because I remember when you took swim lessons yourself. So give us a little backstory about that.
I learned how to swim at 43.
Okay.
I am 50 years old. I seen the class saying, hey, we got free swim lessons. I'm like, yeah, right. What's free? So I emailed the participant. That's like, yeah, sure, it is free. So I emailed the organization, which is Central Adult Learn to Swim,
Okay.
and I showed up for myself. I wasn't a fearful swimmer. I just didn't know what to do. I could jump in the water, but I just didn't know what to do. So I went through 4 days of training, and really on day one, I was swimming. So I didn't have a fear. I just didn't know what tools I needed.
Yeah.
Like I was holding my breath. I was probably like riding a bicycle because I know with swimming, you can't ride a bicycle legs. You have to have straight legs. And just holding your breath. Like we've been taught, you hold your breath, hold your nose, jump in the water. And that's not what you really do. So from that standpoint, I was like, this is interesting. This is something here. And it prompted me to start my business, Nikki B Aquatics. But not only that, it was a safe space where people and women of color could swim and learn how to swim for free. So it was like, oh, what else can I do? What else can I do? How can I help this program? And today, I am like the chairwoman of that board of that nonprofit program. I've started my own business, Nikki B Aquatics. I'm a lifeguard, a certified lifeguard. So there's things that at age 43 then, which I'm 50 now, that I would never thought I would have done.
I love that. And it's something that you just said that tickled me because it brought me back or took me back to when I first came to the class. And that was, you were talking about the bicycle legs. Uh, because again, just not knowing where to start. But uh, for me, it was just getting in and doing it. But because I think sometimes people assume that swimming is just about learning the strokes, but there's actually so much more happening, like mentally and emotionally, when someone gets in the water. Because one of the things that you guys teach is about the body. And so, and all the other techniques that come along with that. And the the thing that we're always taught at a young age, as far as holding our breath when we go underwater, and that's not necessarily true. That's actually not what we're supposed to do at all. So, so I love that, and thank you for sharing that. So, one thing that really stood out to me during the lesson was how tight my body was. My shoulders were so tense and my mind was racing. It was literally going probably like a mile a minute. And I realized that I was holding tension without, even being aware of it. So from your experience, what are some of the most common fears adults bring with them when they start swimming lessons?
I would say I could be a millionaire if everyone tells me I got pushed in the pool at a young age.
Mm,
The biggest one, I got pushed in the pool, or my parent didn't know how to swim, so I didn't learn how to swim. So an adult pushed that fear on their kids.
yeah.
And then also, it's been even the point where they didn't have access.
Hmm.
So if you don't have access, you really don't know what to do, or you've been pushed in
Yeah.
and you have that fear. So there's a fear that's set up. There's something traumatic, or hey, I've seen one of my family members drown.
Yeah.
And it's very that memory you holding onto you before you even get in the water.
Uh-huh.
So when you get in the water, your body's already tense because that last memory that you have of the water is what's with you.
Right.
So I love it to see like, hey, I call it a breakthrough. It's
Mm,
not fear, we're having faith. We're gonna faith push you through that process, but you gotta trust the process. So and a lot of people like, oh, I didn't think I could do this.
mhm.
So it's about being patient, being kind, and meeting somebody where they are. So if
Yeah.
you meet them where they are, then they're able to go through the next step. And I was meeting with some ladies earlier today, and it was so crazy because one of the ladies actually taught how to swim. She said, I still call you the whisperer. Because she said, you just whisper something very softly, and
Uh-huh.
it resonated, and I remember that. So anytime I'm in the water, I could just hear your voice saying, it's your body, enjoy it, relax, the water's gonna hold you. She said, it's just that whisper that I hear different things. If you told me that it resonates with me, that
Yeah.
she went into Jamaica and jumped off the cliff. Never would have done it before.
What?
Never would have done it. And she's like, I just heard you say, you got this.
Yeah.
You know
And
what to
that's
do.
amazing. That is
So
amazing.
I just like to make an impact like on our
Yeah.
community because 80% of people in our community, the Black community, does not know how to swim.
Well, I will tell you, you definitely made an impact on me because, like I said, and I know we had talked about me taking these swim lessons forever, and to finally make it, um, it wasn't as bad as I thought, but like you said, as far as people saying that they were pushed in at a young age or whatever. Now, I wasn't pushed in, but the fact that I almost drowned at that age and I've been holding on to that fear for 39 years, like that was crazy to me. So, and still having to break down, that trauma or break through that trauma. And that's one of the reasons why I said that I'm definitely going to continue the lessons because, um, I would wanna be more graceful with the swim. I wanna get rid of the bicycle legs and just, just learn everything that I can and just also just get better, because it definitely was relaxing once I was able to allow my body to relax for a second. So,
Yes.
um, was you gonna say something?
Mm-mm, you're good.
Okay. So do you notice a difference between teaching adults and teaching children? And if so, like what's the biggest difference?
I would say the biggest difference, depending on the kid's age and if
Hmm.
they've had a bad experience, kids are fearless, so they don't care. They'll do whatever you ask them to do. The adults, and I tell people, no, you're not going to talk yourself out of this swim lesson.
Hmm.
You walked in the door, you got in the water, let's complete it. They would make every excuse. Oh, give me a minute. I got to catch my breath. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm dead. We as adults will talk ourselves out of anything.
Yes.
And my thing is, no, you're not. You're getting in the water. You're fine. So normally what I do is just have a conversation. Talk about something
Yeah.
they love. Okay, what about vacation? What about this? What do you like? So when
Hmm.
you get your mind off of really like, I'm in the water, I'm going to learn how to swim,
Yeah.
you get more relaxed. So I want to get you comfortable in the water. That way I can get your body to relax. Because when you're tight, your body's heavy and you're going to go under the water. You're going
Right.
to go straight to the bottom because your body's so heavy. But once you really like, I tell everybody, once you feel it, you can get it.
Mm-hmm.
So like once you feel what a float looks like, whether you're on your front or your back, you feel it. So now you know how to get your body back to it. If you never feel something, you can't get back to it.
Yeah.
So it's really about feeling the water, relaxing. And I tell you, swim with the water. Don't
Mm,
fight it.
yeah.
Don't fight it. You swim with it. It's so much easier.
Yeah.
And you'll be amazed, like, oh my gosh, the water's holding me up. Why the water's holding you up? Because you are relaxed and you're still in control, but you
Yeah.
got to trust yourself. I got to build up your confidence. I got to build up your resilience. I got to let you know you got to have a love relationship with the water because the water can be dangerous.
Yeah.
But you got to have a love relationship and know you're going to respect the water, but you're in control of the water.
Mm,
And by being in control is being totally relaxed.
yeah.
Like totally relaxed.
Oh goodness. And that took me forever because I remember girl standing on that edge and I'm like, you want me to do what? You know, I'm like,
Yes.
you want me to jump in that and then what?
Right.
And I remember and I mean, I'll probably never forget it, but when I first got in and I was instructed to do something and I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. Like this is what did you say?" It's like, "Nope, no rationalizing, just do it." You know, and so we're going to get to that in a minute because I do have questions about that. But
Okay.
it did make sense what you just said as far as adults bringing their life experiences with them because again, here I bought that one from 39 years ago and
Mhm.
sometimes those experiences include moments when, you know, something didn't go so well in the water. And we definitely do hold on to that. Um, so
And
there were
what did
two,
they get? What did you get? You hold it on for 39 years. What has it done for you?
girl, nothing, not nothing. But weighed heavily, you know, and stopped me from taking lessons earlier. But like I said, it wasn't the fear of the water, it was that the fear of the actual experience itself or the trauma from that experience. But yeah,
So you held it on for 39 years and now you don't let
39
it
years.
go.
Yeah, right.
Now you let it go and you like, dang, what was I holding on that for?
Girl, right, exactly, because it was the most fulfilling, you know, and actually the 4 because I only, of course, made it for the 3 days of the 4, but the days that I was there being in the water was amazing to me because, again, it's not the fear of the water, and knowing that I can float once I, you know, just relax, that was, something that I knew, but it's just again learning the techniques, learning how to properly breathe when you're underwater. So those things I really appreciate it and I can't wait to come back. So
Yes. Awesome.
so there were two things said during the lesson that really stuck with me. And first
Okay.
was when I got there and I got in the water, you said that you guys, meaning the instructors, are our minds. And the
Yeah.
second thing was that people in leadership positions often struggle to relax in the water. And as someone who leads in my professional life and one whose mind is just constantly on the go, that hit home for me. So why do you think people who are used to being in control have a harder time relaxing in the water? And why do you have to give the disclaimer of I'm your mind?
So what I like to do is like, I don't want you to think.
Okay.
Because as a leader, you're always thinking you got to make a decision, you got to make a move, you got to do this and do that. In the water is your time to relax. You don't have to think. We're your brain. We just need you to be the body. So I always say, we're your brain. Don't think, just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. So it's not being mean. It's just that, you don't have to have control. You have control, but you don't have to make a decision.
Yeah.
You just get to follow instructions. And then once you realize your brain is realizing that you get to relax, you don't have to make a decision, you're going to kill it and love it in the water because you're not thinking. So once we can get your brain off of thinking, or even like caregivers, like nurses and doctors,
Mhm.
oh, it's a time with them, but
Yeah.
we get them through it because they're used to making a decision on somebody's life or caring for
Mhm.
someone.
Yeah.
But what did you got to look at the flip side? Who cares for them?
That is true. That is
So once we can get them in the water and they relax, and just a simple blowing the bubbles is like, oh, I didn't
Mhm.
think I could put my face in the water. Yes, you can. So some people need to go down vertically or
Yeah.
horizontally, whichever works. But when we tell you to blow, it makes sense. Blow the air out.
Yeah.
We don't have that much air to hold. So
Yeah.
we tell you to blow it. But then also once you realize you're floating, You got it. Like, we wanna push through that barrier because it's just a muscle memory that we gotta tap into
Mhm.
that has never been tapped into for quite some time.
Yeah.
Once we tap into it, you be floating all over the pool. You be
Yes.
swimming all over the pool, and it's so relaxing and rewarding. Because I like to
Mhm.
hear, "Oh my gosh, Nicole, I went to Jamaica, jump off the cliff. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
Nicole, I went swimming with my grandkids. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm not sitting on the side of the pool anymore. Oh my gosh, there's a swim cap for my hair. I don't have to
Yes.
worry about my hair being messed up."
Yes.
So all those are generational curses that are being broken,
Yeah.
and I feel like God is using me for my God given purpose to break that door open and keep it open for everyone. And something else that I didn't mention, I am the head swim coach of Grace James, Dr. Grace James
And
Academy.
congratulations to you on that. Yes, that's amazing too. I love
So
that for you.
that's an impact because I
Yes.
wanted to make an impact. And God, I applied for different schools. And
Okay.
then I can tell you, God just threw Grace James in my lap.
I love that. I
And
love that.
I'm so glad that I get to make an impact on an all girls school on their swim team. And
Yeah.
even people didn't think they can swim. Come on out. I'll teach you.
Yeah.
But you gotta be consistent and you gotta show up to practices every day for me to get you where you need to be. But since our season is so short and it
Mhm.
starts really quick, so I'm like, they just come out. And I've had a girl that never touched the water. And
Wow.
she came out for the swim team and she was on the swim team again this year, her second year. Amazing. Like the perfect body for it. She
Yeah.
loves it. She's like amazed and so happy that she came out
Yeah.
for the swim team because that's a sport that's good for her. She didn't
Yeah.
want to do dancing. She didn't want to do basketball, none of that. Her sport is swimming. And I'm so glad that I got to be a part to teach her that. And her mom's like so happy because they didn't think that she would ever do any sport at
Yeah.
all.
Well, that's exciting, and I'm excited for you, and especially as you said, at an all girls school, and just the impact that you're going to make with those young women. But just thinking about the impact you made with me,
Oh,
and I know that it's been the same with everybody that has come out and take the swim and has taken those swim lessons. So, I definitely hope that a lot more people come out because one thing that I did learn, and it's going back to what you said as far as leadership and how those that are in leadership, it requires us to like think ahead and anticipate problems. But swimming requires the opposite. It requires you to just let go. And that is definitely something that is hard for a lot of people to do.
yes.
So what do you think it actually means, or can you tell me what it means to actually relax in the water?
You know how you like a puppet and the
Hmm.
puppet just dangling everywhere? Your body needs to be like a puppet. Or I would say, like those noodles you like to put in the water with you.
Yes.
Let your body be that soft like that noodle.
Yeah.
Because if you're real soft, and as women, some of us are blessed to have top heavy. That
Yeah.
way you're easy to float as well.
Mhm.
So like me, I'm not top heavy, but I'm little slender,
Mhm.
little muscular. I've got a little more muscle, so I have to fight to float.
Okay.
Some people can just lay out and float. So it's
Mhm.
nothing wrong. However it works for you. But if you just relax, if
Yeah.
you make your body as soft as possible, and if you're muscular, you may have to kick to stay afloat because you're more solid, and it's okay. But we just got to figure out what way works for you to float. Some people can just lay back and float. Some people have to kick and float. Regardless, you're still going to be floating. We're going to
Yeah.
make sure that you know what way works for your body.
And I noticed that when I when I laid back, I naturally floated. Um,
Mhm.
but I also noticed that the moment I loosened up just even a little bit, everything started to feel different. And
Yes.
so, like I said, I can't wait to get back.
Yeah, it's like an out of body experience. And I tell people
Mhm.
sometimes, like, okay, it's okay. You're going to float. I'm right here.
Yeah,
But sometimes it could just feel really weird because you've never floated and you're actually like,
exactly.
this water's really holding me up. Like,
Yes.
how's this happening?
Yeah.
And like, literally, we like, okay, raise your head, your feet will drop down. That's just the
Mhm.
gravity. But when you actually lay back and float and know, like, oh my gosh, I started in one side of the pool, now I'm at the
And
other side. Oh
yes,
my gosh,
yes.
how did I get over here? It's because you was relaxed and the water was just moving you.
Right, and that's what and when I was, thinking about how I did that from one end, from the deep end
Hmm.
to back to the shallow end, like, I was like, "Okay," like, I really did it, so, it was nice, scary, for the first time, but it was definitely nice, and like I said, I can't wait to just have more practice with it so that I can get better, um So how much of swimming, Nikki, would you say is mental versus physical?
I would say 80%.
Okay.
80% is mental because we can, some people, I had a client that I couldn't get her head in the water,
Mhm.
couldn't get her to blow the bubbles.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, what's going on with you?
Yeah.
She said, I just lost my mother. I said,
Oh,
it's time for you to get out of this pool because you're not ready.
yeah.
You got something else on your mind, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So when you get through the grieving process, then you come back to the water.
Yeah.
So yes, I would say definitely mental. So I always tell people like, don't get over anxious about it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be okay. We're gonna figure it out. And it's okay. Sometimes people are not ready. And
Right.
some people just want to sit and put their feet in. And that's just having that connection with the water. And I always tell people, like I told you when you jumped in, let your
Mhm.
feet feel the water. Have that
Yeah.
connection with the water. So sometimes it just takes a little bit, but I tell you, promise you, I'm gonna get you through the process.
Well, look, I can't wait. And breathing plays a huge role in that too, right? Because I know, like you mentioned previously, that a lot of us are taught to hold your breath when you get in the water, but it's actually the opposite. Like you are to breathe and, like
Yeah.
you said, blow the bubbles out. So, how important is it for us to learn the proper way of breathing when we do decide to get into the water?
When you do get in the water, you can't hold your breath and get across the pool. So that means you're holding your nose or holding your breath. You're going to be tired and be very lethargic. So the key thing with blowing those bubbles, you're blowing the air out. So when you need to run, when you feel like you're running, well, before you run out of air, you either flip over on your back or turn to the side, turn your head to the side and get your air. Then you go back. So mainly we'll teach that you go freestyle as long as you can, but get air before you need it. So that way you don't feel like you're struggling, like, oh, in a panic, oh, I can't breathe, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Before you get air, before you need to stand up or before you need to take that next breath,
Mhm.
get that next breath. So it's just really being calm, patient, and putting all the techniques together. And blowing the bubbles is your source. Like if you look at all the Olympics,
Yeah.
the swimmers are blowing bubbles.
Right.
They're rolling through
Right.
that water, but
And it's
I
funny
mean, they're blowing bubbles. And then
it's
as in the
funny that you
Olympics,
say that, because you post a lot of swim videos, and I don't know if you girl, I be clicking them all because 'cause I'm, like, trying to I'm like, "Oh, like, this might work for me." But
yes.
in looking at them, you are absolutely right because not once have I looked at one of those videos or even watched the Olympics and not seen a swimmer that has bubbles, coming up from the water. So, I don't know what made me think that you're supposed to hold it if even the professionals are blowing bubbles, girl.
Yes. And then also when you see in the Olympics how they're underneath the water, you're
Yeah,
faster underneath the water. So there is a point where they have to come up and start swimming.
right.
So they stay underneath the water as long as they can because you are faster underneath water. So you see most Olympians, they will swim like halfway across the pool or more than over halfway across the pool and come up and maybe swim 10 strokes.
Yeah.
So that means that's a total of 20 strokes they're swimming and they're done.
Mhm,
So they're swimming as least as they need to. So that's why you see swimmers going underneath the water as much as they can because you're faster underneath water.
mhm.
Then you come up and you take less strokes as possible.
Yeah. And when you said that, it made me think about something else that you taught. And I can't think of the position, but it's when, you're holding your hands like this and then you dive into
Streamline.
the streamline and you
Yep.
have to, you're like, let your body float before you actually get into the swim position or, start swimming.
Yep.
And when looking at the videos, you definitely see that too in a lot of the professional swimmers. So,
Yep.
but one of
It's
the
just
things, hmm,
knowledge.
go
I say
ahead.
it's just really just sharing the knowledge and
Yeah.
giving you the tools to properly swim.
And one of the things that this experience made me think about is trust, because when you're swimming, you have to trust the water, which you say all the time. You have to trust the water, you have to trust your breathing, and most importantly, you have to trust your body, because, like you said, you have to relax in order for the transformation to take place. Meaning the water, just move you along
Yes.
like it did. But do you think learning to swim teaches people something beyond just the physical skill?
Yes. I feel like swimming teaches your confidence,
Yeah.
resilience, because I tell everybody, they come in me mugging me with a frown, looking me all
Mm,
silly. But when I tell you, when you in that first 30 minutes of swimming
yeah.
and you do something you've never done before, I see all the pearly whites.
Yes. Not all of them.
I see the smiles come up, and it's just like,
Right.
oh my gosh, I did that. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I prevented myself all these years from doing that, and I've done it. And that's something that I'm giving you that nobody can take away.
Yeah.
You know how to blow your bubbles, you know how to kick, you know how to float, you know how to tread water. Those are life skills
Yeah.
that nobody can take from you. And all you got to do now is catch up. All the time you lost, catch back up.
Hey, listen, because for me, that moment jumping in the deep end, it was more than just swimming for me because it felt like I was facing something that I had avoided for a long time.
Yes.
And I remember when the instructor, he was like, "You need to give yourself, you need to give yourself an applause because you just broke a barrier." He said you had a breakthrough that has been there for forever. And I was like, "You are
Mhm.
absolutely right." So he was like, "Go home, celebrate." He was like,
Yes.
"Do something." He was like, "But yes," he was like, "You should be proud of yourself." And I was, because girl, you seen me. You know how long it took me to actually jump in. Like I said, it seemed like it was longer, but 1 or 2 minutes, that's a long time if you think about it.
Mhm.
But I appreciated the patience and everything that everyone showed, and especially the instructor that was like, "I'll jump in with you." And I talked about this in the last episode, and I was like, I declined because for me, it wasn't anything that she could help me with. It was something that I had to overcome by
Mhm.
myself. But I definitely appreciated her being in the water waiting for me to get in, like to jump in.
Yes.
So that was definitely encouraging. So here's something else that I'm really curious about. Um, well, actually, we've already talked about it because you answered that. But
Okay.
before we wrap it up, I have a few
Okay.
quick questions. It's called rapid fire.
Okay.
So, think of or tell me the first one that comes to mind. So, deep end or shallow end?
Deep end.
Favorite stroke?
Freestyle.
What's the biggest mistake beginners make?
Not showing up for themselves.
Okay. And what is one thing everyone should know about staying safe in the water?
Learn to swim.
I
Don't
love
get in the water if you don't know how to swim.
I'm telling you, that's the
Because there's not
biggest.
no doggy paddle that's gonna get you through it.
Oh man, I
Please don't
learned
get
that
in
quick.
any body of water if you
Yeah.
don't know how to swim.
Yes, I would definitely agree with that. And one thing I shared in the last episode is that the deep end didn't take me out, but it is because I learned how to swim. So I thank you for the years that I avoided learning how to swim because of what happened when I was 12. But that weekend reminded me that sometimes we spend years avoiding something not because we can't do it, but because what happened the last time that we tried. So growth often requires us to go back to the edge, take a breath, and jump anyway. And Nicole,
Yes.
tell people how they can inquire if they're interested in taking lessons and learning how to swim.
I have a website. It's Necolle Banks, Necolle Banks at banks.com, or is my name at gmail.com. So I will also say follow our Facebook page. The
Okay.
Central Adult Learn to Swim has a Facebook page. Um, but you can reach out to someone who's just learned how to swim, and
Okay.
we will share the information. But definitely on my website as well, I have it. It's NecolleBanks.com. And that's Necolle Banks, Banks.com. And let's swim. I want Louisville and anywhere surrounding area. I want people to
Yes.
get tired of saying Nicole has taught another person how to swim. Because my
Hey,
goal is to
listen.
make an impact on the community that everybody's swimming. I want these pools packed wherever you at. Going back, I want everybody to be like, "Girl, I learned how to swim. I learned how to
Yes.
swim." I want us to make an impact and
Yes.
keep that doors open for our children. Like
Yes.
that's history. That's scholarships they're missing because they don't know how to swim.
Yep.
I
I
want
agree.
every child to have an opportunity to get a scholarship for swimming, like academic and swimming.
Yeah.
I ain't saying you gotta make it a career,
Yeah.
but it could pay for your college.
Heck yeah. I love it. And I'm gonna tell you, everybody at my job knows that I took swim lessons. And so I have shared the information with several people. So hopefully they reach out and they inquire and even, make time to come and join the next sessions. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today and for helping me get through that moment in the swimming pool. And to
Yes.
everyone listening, if there's something that you've been avoiding because of a past experience, maybe this is your reminder that the story doesn't have to end there. Sometimes the deep end isn't here to take you under, It's here to show you that you can swim. So if this episode spoke to you, share it with a woman who's been standing on the edge, afraid to jump into the deep end. Listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at The Queen's Court, YouTube and Instagram at The Queen's Court Pod, and TikTok at The Rain Room, REIGNROOM. Because remember, sometimes the deep end isn't, again, there to take you under, it's there to show you that you can swim. So I'm your host, Neicey Ford, and until next time, keep growing, keep becoming, and keep reigning. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for joining us in the Queen's Court today. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and download so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep reigning with purpose and walking in power.